trust funds of 566 billion rupiah from recent commercial paper issuance. Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of information from the business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. Statistik Indonesia recorded 2.44 billion US dollar trade surplus in September 2020. The number is higher than in August.
Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, Statistik Indonesia recorded trade surplus of 2.44 billion US dollar in September 2020. These realizations is higher than the August 2020 surplus of 2.35 billion US dollar. In total, the trade balance in January to July 2020 was a surplus of 8.75 billion US dollar. The surplus occurred 5 months in a row, said the head of Statistik Indonesia, Suharyanto.
Pada bulan September tahun 2020 ini mengalami surplus sebesar 2,44 miliar. Di sana digambarkan dengan garis yang berwarna merah. Jadi kembali, selama 5 bulan berturut-turut sejak bulan Mei, Indonesia mengalami surplus. Dan surplus pada bulan September ini lebih besar dibandingkan surplus pada bulan Agustus yang lalu yang sebesar 2,35 miliar US dollar.
The trade balance surplus occurred because the export value reached 14.01 billion US dollar, went up 6.97% from August 2020, which amounted to 13.1 billion US dollar. Meanwhile, the import value was only 11.57 billion US dollar, or went up 23.5% of the previous month. Jakarta, Raja Pakmo for IDX Channel.
Minister of Industry believes that process manufacturing industry performance will grow to 5.5% in 2021. However, the minister didn't deny the projection for 2020 will be pressed until 0.5%. The disruption of manufacturing caused by COVID-19 has severe operational, social, and financial consequences. Consequently, the Ministry of Industry said that process manufacturing industry growth of the end or until the end of the year is predicted to be depressed minus 0.5 to 2.4%. Even so, Minister of Industry Agus Gumiwang Kartasasmita is optimistic that the performance of the processing industry will recover in 2021 with a growth of 4.7% to 5.5%.
Pertumbuhan industri pengolahan di akhir tahun 2020 ini diprediksi akan tertekan sampai kepada minus 0,5 sampai minus 2,4%. Namun kita optimis ya, pada tahun 2021 nanti kinerja industri pengolahan diperkirakan akan mampu tumbuh sebesar antara 4%.
The World Bank has released the International Debt Statistic in 2021 report. In the report, Indonesia is included in the list of 10 medium-income countries with the largest foreign debt in the world.
The World Bank stated that Indonesia was included in the list of 10 middle to low-income countries that had most foreign debt, whereas Indonesia is ranked 7th worldwide. For the August 2019 to 2020 period, the debt increased by almost 1,000 trillion rupiah. This fact is stated in the World Bank report entitled International Debt Statistic of 2021. The first place with the largest external debt is occupied by China. Then it goes to Brazil, India, Russia, Mexico, Turkey, Indonesia, South Africa, and Thailand. From all sources, IDX Channel.
On the other hand, economic observers warn the situation about Indonesia as a country with highest debt level in ASEAN.
Many economic observers assess that high Indonesia debt level is concluded as a caution. The government must be careful with the amount of debt that continues to increase significantly. From the World Bank statistical records, the amount of Indonesian debt reached $402 billion, which means the highest among Asian countries. Senior economist of IndiHome Enrique Hartati stated that Indonesia's debt main problem is the ability to pay.
Artinya anggaran-anggaran yang sesungguhnya sangat dibutuhkan untuk perlindungan sosial, untuk kesehatan masyarakat, untuk pendidikan, dan yang jauh lebih basic itu malah terkorbankan hanya untuk menambah agar cicilan dan bunga utang kita terbayarkan. Nah, sehingga ini yang menurut saya akan menjadi buah simalakama untuk perekonomian kita ke depan.
Moreover, from tax revenue or export foreign exchange point of view, also the Indonesian debt is increasingly worrisome, so that Indonesia's fiscal management must be more prudent and on target. From Jakarta, Rajo Padmo for IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned. Kepala BKPM Bahlil Hadalia bahkan mendorong investor untuk segera masuk ke kawasan industri yang disiapkan pemerintah.
Silakan para investor datang yang bawa modal, datang membawa teknologi, biarlah pemerintah yang mengurus izinnya.
Asosiasi Industri Sepeda Motor Indonesia mencatat penjualan sepeda motor secara bertahap menunjukkan pemulihan.
Saat ini lebih mudah untuk mendapatkan informasi mengenai perkembangan ekonomi dan bisnis di Indonesia dengan aplikasi IDX Channel. Mulai dari berita, makro dan mikroekonomi, politik hingga hiburan. Anda juga dapat berbagi artikel, foto, dan video ke semua platform media sosial yang Anda miliki. Beragam informasi hari ini bisa di-download di dalam aplikasi idxchannel.com. IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business, and Capital Market Channel.
Welcome back. Minister of State-Owned Enterprises Erick Thohir emphasized that the merger of Indonesia state-owned Sharia banks is a new history for Sharia banking industry.
Minister of State-Owned Enterprises Erick Thohir emphasized that the merger of Indonesia's state-owned Sharia banks is a new history for Sharia banking industry. According to Erick, as a country with the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia should have a strong Sharia bank. Therefore, Erick explained that the Indonesian government, through the Ministry of SOE, took the initiative to sign a conditional merger agreement to unite the three national Sharia banks, BRI Syariah, Bank Syariah Mandiri, and BNI Syariah, into one entity. Meantime, after signing the conditional merger agreement, there are still a series of processes and stages before the merger becomes effective, including obtaining approval from the regulator. Therefore, during the process, these three banks will continue to run their normal operations and services optimally. From all sources for IDX Channel.
Yeah, along with the signing of the conditional merger agreement by three Indonesia state-owned Sharia banks, this has made this merger step even more real. So how is the profile of these three Sharia banks that will be merged? Let's see the first data. This is the profile of the three Sharia banks that will be merged. The first one is Mandiri Sharia. The spin of the bank is on November 1st, 1999. The total asset by June 2020 reached 114.4 trillion rupiah, increased by 13.26% year-on-year. Meantime, for BNI Sharia, the spin-off of the bank on June 19, 2010, the total asset by June 2020 reached 50.78 trillion rupiah, increased by 17.8% year-on-year. Meantime, BRI Sharia, as surviving entity of the merger, the spin-off of the bank on January 1st, 2009, the total asset by June 2020 reached 49.6 trillion rupiah, increased by 34.7% year-on-year. The mega merger of the state-owned Sharia banks is scheduled to be completed in February 2021, and based on the conditional merger agreement, BRI Sharia will be the surviving entity, as its publicly listed status will simplify the merger. This good news has even been responded by the capital market investors. BRI Sharia stocks traded on the Indonesia Stock Exchange under the code BRIS soared 25% for 2 consecutive days on Tuesday and Wednesday, after rose by 5% on Monday. Meanwhile, with such a large asset value, the total assets of the merged bank can cause other Islamic banks to look dwarfed. Because with assets of 214 trillion rupiah, the total assets are equivalent to 40.37% of the total assets of all Sharia banking and business units in Indonesia. It means that this entity has assets of nearly half of the total assets of all its competitors. Certainly, a fantastic number from the asset. But of course, we cannot only see that from the assets. What about the ability of these banks to generate profits? The data is on the next graphic. And this is the performance of Indonesia Sharia state-owned banks in the first half of 2020. Bank Sharia Mandiri. The performance of the bank reached by 30.93%, or grew by 30.93%. The value of it reached 720.87 billion rupiah. Meantime, for BNI Sharia, it was down by 15.24% year-on-year, but the value of it reached 267 billion rupiah. And for BRI Sharia, the growth or the performance of the bank as much as 229.6% year-on-year, and the value of the growth as much as 117.2 billion rupiah. Due to a lower performance of BNI Sharia, as we can see from the graphic, BNI's Director of Services and Networks, Adi Sulistyowati, said that in the first half of 2020, BNI Sharia in fact continued to show good growth in assets and third-party funds amid the COVID-19 pandemic, where the third-party funds were able to grow 20.15% to 43.64 trillion rupiah. But however, in terms of distribution of funds, BNI Sharia focuses on mitigating the risks of financing due to the impact of COVID-19, which caused BNI Sharia financing decreased 108%, and this factor is one of the causes of the decline of the company's profit in the first half. We hope that positive performance will again be achieved in the remaining of the year. So, viewers, regarding the state-owned Sharia banks merger, how is the response from the Indonesia's Financial Services Authority? And let's take a look at the next graphic. This is the statement of Wimbo Santoso. He's the OJK's chairman of the board of the commissioner. He said that the merger of three state-owned banks or Sharia banks is also in line with Indonesia's efforts to become a center for Sharia financial development, which currently ranks in the top 4 in the development of the Islamic finance industry based on the Islamic Finance Development Indicator. And chairman of the OJK Board of Commissioners, Wimbo Santoso, supports the merger of the 3 state-owned Sharia banks. According to Wimbo, mergers and acquisitions in the national banking industry will increase the efficiency and competitiveness of Sharia banking in the global arena. He ensures that this is in line with OJK's goals to build a healthy, competitive banking industry that could provide better service quality and to make the best contribution to economic development. For that, he admitted that he would facilitate with various policies and provisions so that this corporate action will run according to the planned time stages. Meanwhile, this merger is also expected to be able to make state-owned Sharia bank from Indonesia into the top 10 Sharia banks with the largest assets in the world, which refers to data from the Asian banker. The merged bank has the potential to take place on the 10th rank in the world above Bank Rakyat Malaysia. Apart from the benefits and the huge potential from this merger, of course, there are a number of challenges that must be anticipated. To find out more, let's go to the next graphic. These are the list of the biggest challenges of Sharia state-owned banks merger. The first one is, of course, about the effectivity. Will the merger automatically increase market share and market alignment requirements of all merged banks and need an additional capital injection to be equivalent to a Book 4 bank? And not only that, the potential for layoffs is also an issue for companies that decide to merge. And this is, of course, a concern for the employees of these banks. However, related to this, the President Director of Mandiri Sharia, who is also the chairman of the Sharia bank merger process, Tony Subari, emphasized that and even guaranteed that there will be no termination of employment. And not only answering employees' concerns, at the same time, he also ensures services and operations for customers will continue to run based on customer needs. There is no change in operations where customer needs remain a priority and services will be provided optimally. And hopefully, it can also be the answer for you, the customers of these state-owned Sharia banks. And hopefully, the merger plan will be well executed and will deliver greater performance or positive impacts to the nation. Stay tuned on Market Land Speakers. We'll be right back after the break.
Pergerakan indeks harga saham gabungan sepanjang perdagangan hari ini tertekan, level 5 ribuan kembali ditinggalkan. Bagaimana analisis Anda?
Masih ada peluang turun lebih lanjut. Kalau misalkan regionalnya memerah, nah maka tidak tertutup kemungkinan kita juga akan ketularan kan.
Dan beberapa perbankan yang diduga melakukan transaksi mencurigakan dan semoga bisa menjadi salah satu referensi untuk Anda dan seperti apa ke depannya.
Pembahasan pasal demi pasal Omnibus Law RUU Cipta Kerja menimbulkan berbagai polemik.
Nolak RUU Omnibus Law khususnya klaster ketenaga kerjaan yang kami anggap mendegradasi hak-hak pekerja Indonesia.
BPS mengumumkan terjadi deflasi di bulan September.
Tapi di sisi lain, hampir seluruh sektor produktif ini mengalami pertumbuhan yang minus, maka perbankan pasti akan mengalami kesulitan untuk menyalurkan pembiayaan.
Sebetulnya industri hilir itu lokal itu udah siap. Jadi pemerintah juga nggak perlu lagi menarik investor untuk industri hilir. Jadi pemerintah cukup menarik investor untuk industri bahan baku.
Seiring dengan penutupan dari Bursa Wall Street, di mana S&P kembali mencatatkan rekor tertinggi sepanjang sejarah, buat IHSG juga pada pagi hari ini dibuka di teritori positif, pemirsa.
Kedua, pasar masih melihat adanya proses recovery yang terus berjalan.
Sementara di Asia kita lihat berakhir positif juga pada perdagangan Jumat kemarin setelah rilis data ekonomi di wilayah Eropa dan Amerika yang mengalami penguatan.
We're on the last segment. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was opened at the level of 5,172.59, and then approaching the closing time of the first session, the index was on the level of 5,145.63. Then the index was showing weakening trend, but the second session closing time index was closed at the level of 5,105.15. In short, JCI down by 1.37%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got finance as the leader of the weakening trend that went down 1.86%. Construction went down 1.63%. This industry went down 1.45%. And mining went down 1.32%. And moving on to the top gainers and top losers for today, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. MDKA went up 1.66% to the level of 1,835 per share. CRAS or KRAS went up 2.2% to the level of 372 per share. Mika went up 2.27% to the level of 2,700 per share. BEST went up 3.45% to the level of 180 per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got ANTM went down 2.09% to the level of 935 rupiah per share. BRIS went down 6.76% to the level of 1,310 rupiah per share. BBNI went down 3.43% to the level of 4,780 rupiah per share. BMRI went down 3.03% to the level of 5,600 rupiah per share. And this is the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Open at the level of 14,760 rupiah was also showing a strengthening trend towards US dollar. It was closed at the level of 14,751 in summary rupiah, went down 0.09%. Infrastructure-based company Jasa Marga received fresh funds of 566 billion rupiah from recent commercial paper issuance.
Infrastructure-based company Jasa Marga received fresh funds of 566 billion rupiah. The funds come from the recent commercial paper issued by the company. Jasa Marga's corporate finance group head Eka Satya said that the target funds from commercial paper issuance is 500 billion up to 1 trillion rupiah. He explained that the funds will be used for working capital, capital expenditures, and other company needs. Adri said that Jasa Marga's commercial paper one in 2020 has a very competitive interest rate, considering that the basic interest rate used is the Jakarta Interbank Overt Rate or JIBOR plus 85 to 160 basis points. In addition, Adri mentioned that the commercial paper can also be used as bridging financing before the company obtains long-term funding, for example, issuing bonds or other capital market instruments. For information, commercial paper is a money market instrument for non-bank corporation in the form of promissory notes and has a maturity of up to 1 year that is registered in Bank of Indonesia. From all sources for IDX Channel.
And moving on to construction sector, Wijaya Karya along with government has distributed 1,000 masks to public. The program as a part of company's campaign to prevent COVID-19 transmission.
Not only with government, this time Wika management bolster alliance with millennials as well. The main idea is about conveying positive messages and remind the public on the importance of implementing health protocols as a way to prevent COVID-19. Corporate Relations General Manager of Wijaya Karya, Ahmad Haris Sukamto, explained that the program initiated by the Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises together with Jakarta COVID-19 Task Force is expected to increase public awareness, especially in the crowded places, to keep using masks as an effort to prevent the coronavirus. Other than that, WICA, along with the Ministry of State and Enterprises, simultaneously conduct the program in all across 34 provinces in Indonesia. Jakarta, Gilang Praditya for IDX Channel.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes a big role on current economic situation. And here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. In the news, close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. And before saying goodbye, I would like to remind you what Mom said. Please do comply with health protocol by using mask, physical distancing, and avoiding crowd. Also, washing your hands often with soap through overflowing water. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.
Untuk informasi lebih lanjut tentang pasar modal syariah, silakan menghubungi nomor telepon 1500655 atau melalui email di konsumen@ojk.go.id.
Tunggu apa lagi?
Ayo berinvestasi di pasar modal syariah.
Berinvestasi yang amanah.